For as long as we've been doing the experiment of democracy or republic, we have had the role of media in this, and mostly just because people don't know how to vote or can't be well educated without access to some sort of news, right? It makes sense that media plays as strong a role as it does in the history of the United States. So I don't really see Fox News being formed on October 7th of 1996 as something new happening in media as much as like a new era of media and politics overlapping. Remember that the newspapers of the colonies, they'd literally banned newspapers early on, right? They had printing presses getting thrown into the rivers during the Civil War because abolitionist presses were being targeted by pro-slavery forces. And we've talked and talked about the way the propaganda in World War II unfolded and the kind of London calling, Germany calling sort of radio shows and the ways that those impacted people and the way that people were willing to listen to them even though they knew it was propaganda, right? It was the only way that people could get a hold of prisoner of war updates. So they were willing to consume it even though it wasn't really actually news. So it's not like news being part of the political cycle is new, right? Media has been kind of the fourth feature of the United States government for a very long time, and struggles over where that media stops and starts have been part of the struggle. But Fox News did do a few things differently. They also became something different visually than had ever existed before. So when you look at early Fox News and Fox News today, you have like it's a visual thing happening, right? You can look at a picture of a Fox News broadcast and immediately know where it comes from because of all the ticker tapes and the side stuff and the bullet points behind people. And that was novel to Fox News. And I think that that's really important because it means that it can be on mute in a waiting room and you can be watching it. It also means that a whole market of people who had lost the ability to watch the news as they aged and their hearing went out were able to consume Fox News in a different way because that constant kind of reiteration of what's happening, you don't actually have to be able to follow the entire conversation to be able to get something out of what Fox News is telling you. When Fox News launched, there was like this conversation about the way that the conservative views of Murdoch were going to be kind of embodied in this thing. But I don't think that anybody understood how big the scope of Fox News' influence on the United States was going to be. There's academic research that shows that George Bush's election in 2000 was a result of Fox News being launched in 1996. There's also research that shows that 3.59 points went to the Republican Party in 2004 because of the influence of Fox News. And in 2008, that's 6.34%. So we're seeing this climb in those early years from a tiny margin that's able to be predicted to 3.5 to over 6. And those are in the early years. At this point, it's really hard to even know what the influence is because the influence is it snowballs, right? It's accumulative. So we're beyond kind of percentage points in the election, right? We're now at a point where the Fox News media is its own arm of the political system that's like influencing the president, and then the president is back in. But it has to be understood in the context of the media has always been this influential thing in the United States. And it mirrors the other propaganda sort of experiences, both in the United States and around the world, of people know that it's not actually balanced, right? They know that there's like things happening, but it's also, in a lot of cases, the most entertaining and the most interesting, and in a lot of ways, the most digestible, right? Those ticker tapes, the bullet points, allow folks to give a third of their attention to it and still come away with talking points, with understanding of what the kind of thesis was in a way that's like super important for human digestion. And I suspect when the history books are written for this particular era, we're going to start in 1996 talking about the way that Fox News began influencing the elections. and influencing the way that people were thinking about identity and electoral kind of forces.